So we're going to talk about audience right now. Okay, this is the first thing you should always think about when doing any type of design. Who is your audience, right? We've covered this before, and some of these things are going to seem kind of the same as when we dealt with other units, right? And they should be because it's the same type of ideas that we have here when we're talking about design. So, who is the audience? If you look at this Guardians of the Galaxy poster, I ask you, who is the audience? What do we have here, right? We have colorful creatures, right? We have animals that are human-like, anthropomorphized humans, right? Or animals. We have this tree thing, right? Obviously, this is some sort of fantasy thing, which feels like we have kids, yet we have violence here, where we have guns shooting and swords, and this adorable creature is actually screaming with a machine gun type thing going on, right? So definitely there's some violence going on here. And of course we have the spaceship stuff going on, right? So we know that this is some sort of outer space thing. And of course we have this human who's going to be in the lead because he's the tallest and biggest, right? So here's our lead character here, right? So just by looking at this poster, even if we don't know a thing about this movie, we get an idea what it's about and who it's for. Okay? So it's important to know that age makes a difference in design, right? When you're designing for children and for old adults, you probably want less things going on and bigger things, right? Because of hard to see things, right? With young kids, you probably want more excitement than adults and older adults, things like that, right? Definitely a poster like this would not fly well with older adults. It's important to provide visual breaks and resting spots. Once again, this is a negative space. There's a lot going on with this poster, but there's also a lot of places where we just have darkness going on, right? A lot of negative space. Okay, it's important to treat information similarly, right? Whereas we have all these pictures of these people, right? Or beings, I should say. Right? They all look the same as far as their style goes, right? With the way that it's almost drawn, right? It's close to photorealistic is what's going on, and everything kind of has that same feel. One doesn't look like an actual photograph that was taken, and one looks like a drawing, right? It all kind of looks the same, so that's very important that we want to do that, right? And this is going to help to convey the image to our audience. Okay. Now to remember that you are not designing for yourself. It's important to remember this, right? You are designing for an audience, not for yourself. So remember, whenever you're designing, if you're like, I don't know, I like it, it's never a good answer. It's supposed to be supporting for an audience. So with that said, with Guardians of the Galaxy, let's look at this next slide, right? You see any similarities here, right? Believe it or not, this poster actually has some iconography going on where it harkens back to the original Star Wars trilogy posters, right? Where we have all kinds of things. We got Death Star, we got planet, right? We got fighter ships. We got tall white guy hero. We got anthropomorphized animals, right? We got other creatures. We got all kinds of stuff, right? In fact, even Return of the Jedi, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. It even looks a little similar as far as the logo goes, right? Of course, this was done on purpose because this is trying to get more of a middle-aged audience coming in, people who adore the original Star Wars films, right, that came out at the time. So this was done very much on purpose. Now, if we look at this movie poster, what do you see, right? Who is the audience? This probably isn't a kid's film, right? This probably isn't a documentary, right? This probably isn't a comedy, right? What do we see here? We have George Clooney, right, looking all serious. He has a gun. He's in a suit, right, without a tie. Kind of has this James Bond feel going on, right? Of course, we have this woman, Lokan, in the background, where he looks like he's almost like protecting a woman. He's doing this for a woman, or maybe she is the reason why he's running with a gun. Who knows, right? But definitely, you see the audience real fast as you look at this poster.